Sorry, I can't get over the quote again. D-Day Adeshola, welcome to The Jump. When he said that to you, by the way, that was a great event. You were amazing up there with him. I was there, completely holding your own. When he said that to you, what was your reaction in the moment?
I lost it. Absolutely. He's such a cool dude, super humble, really approachable. He's the best.
Absolutely. Well, we could say the same thing about you. We love having you be involved with our show. We love the way that NBA Twitter has really just jumped off the page. What do you think that free agency did for NBA Twitter, which I've heard you say is your most active sort of sports cell on Twitter?
Yeah, it's interesting. NBA Twitter has been this active, vibrant community forever. It's the cookout. It's the barbershop on Saturday is popping, right? But this offseason was unusual. It was different. And I think one of the reasons is because all of the amazing activity that occurred.
Sure.
You think about free agency Sunday when it kicked off. The most mentioned person was not a player. It wasn't a team. It was your very own Woj. He was the second most tweeted about person on the platform, second to the president. Now you've got Kendrick Perkins tweeting out perk bombs. Like, you got all types of things going.
Right? There we go. We made an honorary homage to Woj because this is a big deal. I just want to make this clear. He wasn't like the second most sports figure, second most NBA, second most human being in worldwide Twitter that anyone was talking about was Woj, which is pretty amazing. And then also you mentioned Perk.
Yeah.
Right?
Perk is, I would say Perk is on my...
His own Perk bomb, not to be understated at all.
I would say Perk is probably on the most improved Twitter player list.
Ooh.
Like he's
the Pascal Siakam of Twitter?
He is.
He is. Right?
He is.
An award.
He's got perk bombs. Who else got perk bombs on Twitter? It's Perk.
Absolutely. He had his thing. I mean, it was fun to watch all of that develop, right, and unfold on Twitter. And he says it's the cookout. It's a global community, right?
Well, and it's so vital for people like Rachel and Malika and myself doing our job. I mean, it's such a valuable resource that, you put on notifications for other reporters, for certain players, and it keeps you informed and it allows you to take that information and then hit up your own sources to get further information to advance the story.
I mean,
it's very helpful.
Some of the times you're hearing that information first on Twitter before it's, reported on our platforms. That's where we go first. And I like the Twitter Sunday. It's like Super Bowl Sunday only. Adding that.
I tell people NBA and Twitter go together like chips and guac. And if you're an NBA fan and you're not on Twitter, go get your guac.
Aw, look at that. There you go. Well, it is true, though, because you missed some of those moments, right?
Sure.
So what was your favorite NBA Twitter moment of this year?
God, there's so many, right? So many. My favorite was probably during the Jimmy Butler Minnesota Timberwolves practice. We were there. We all had our assumptions. A different type of lip and balm. We all had our assumptions as to what we thought happened in the arena. So while we were tweeting and talking to our friends about what happened, Rachel gasses up the private jet. She hops on the PJ and flies straight to Minnesota.
If only that were true. If only that's how it worked.
Just popped right on in there and got the
Can you talk to my bosses? Because I think I want to work out a private jet
with
situation.
your @ handle on the side of it. Perfect.
I mean, for me, it was the start of the NBA season last year. Perhaps the most intriguing figure was Kawhi Leonard leaving the Spurs, going to the Raptors. Media day, he gets up there with that ridiculous laugh. I'm a fun guy. Here we go. And everybody had a take about it, turn it into memes, turn it into auto-tune music, and Twitter was a way to find all of it in a quick and orderly fashion.
That man won the NBA Finals. I don't think you get to call him ridiculous. I'm sorry.
It was a ridiculous laugh. You can be a great basketball player and have a ridiculous laugh. Come on.
That's fair.
If Dave's choosing the beginning of the season, I'm going to choose the end of the season. And sticking with the Raptors, I'm going with all that is Nick Nurse. We're talking the shoulder rubs with Drake, the mouth wide open. Yes, that I feel like that at least once a day. And when I'm watching Woj drop Woj bombs, that's often what I look like. So I think that just took the cake for me.
There it is.
Look at it. There we go, the rubs.
I will say
like
this
it.
was a good year on Twitter. Nothing this year, I have to just say it, nothing this year for a Twitter moment reached to me what I am going to say for me is my ultimate NBA Twitter moment. The bar with all others are judged Maybe not Michael Jordan to Dave, but the secret tunnel! The secret tunnel, which is my favorite, right? And because, look, I mean, you just can't get better than this. Iguodala and the whole thing. And the reason I liked it so much is because there's no secret tunnel. It's a hallway. We all know that. But it became this story that was unfolding in real time on Twitter. And because it was fun, no one got injured. Like, it was just sort of a fun story. There were all these sort of fun embellishments. It came from, like, Clint Capella's, like, walking by the locker room to he's trying to create a diversion and storming the gates and Chris Paul or whatever. And it was just, the way it mushroomed on NBA Twitter. And if you went to sleep on the East Coast at, I don't know, in 1 a.m., you crazy people, you missed it. And then you felt like, oh my God. And then suddenly people were hanging around on NBA Twitter for like late into the early hours for weeks afterward being like, we don't know what's going to happen. We have to be there because the tunnel might happen. And of course, also, I think one of the defining moments of NBA Twitter, in a more serious note, is that a general manager in this league got fired because of his and his family's use of Twitter. It's become such an intrinsic part that people are now using it for good and evil, and that, you know, it's a tool of the NBA world. It's something that's very impressive for you guys.
Yeah, it's a fun community, and it's fun to see how the conversations evolve, each and special one.
Do we need to know anything about how you track those conversations evolving?
We can talk
Should
offline.
anyone here be worried about that? There you go. Well, TJ, thank you so much for joining us. We want you to come back over and over again. TJ is so much fun. You should follow him on Twitter because he's got good connects. He could pop up with Giannis anytime you want to follow him. TJ, right? Is that your
TJAY?
There you go. Boom. Follow him on Twitter. Coming up, Sam Presti says that the Paul George trade was not, quote, mutual, which is a word Paul George has used, although he made sure to note it was not